we're now going to turn over to Matt Sollenberger, who's going to talk a little bit about technology and tomorrow's family. Matt?
Good afternoon. I'll just jump right into my section and we'll talk a little bit about technology and U.S. families. The bottom line here is that technology-intensive lifestyles have gone mainstream in the United States, and the intensity, or the degree to which technology permeates everyday consumer and family life, is set to increase as families continue to purchase more electronics and as these devices themselves become more advanced. U.S. families are gobbling up smartphones, gaming consoles, tablet computers, TVs, all of which are increasingly networked and internet-ready, providing access to everything from social media to music. So as these devices proliferate, they are changing many aspects of family life. Technology has become the locus of how families communicate, of how they relax together, of how they coordinate. This goes far beyond moms giving each of the kids a basic cell phone just for use in emergencies. It's quite clear that U.S. families' use of technology has been booming in recent years, and we expect this trend to continue. We expect to see things such as the rapid proliferation of new consumer electronics, uptake of LCD TVs, e-readers, smartphones, and tablet computers, all of which were largely missing from the technology landscape in 2006, became mainstream commodities by 2010, bringing new functionalities and spurring new behaviors as they enter the home. Surging use of new technology is expected to continue in the coming years, all the while these devices are expected to become increasingly immersive, for instance, the proliferation of 3D TVs. We're also seeing networked homes and home electronics, with smart tech devices becoming quite commonplace. Two-thirds, actually, of U.S. homes with Internet access now have access to wireless networking. Recent Nielsen data indicates that there are over 228 million mobile phone users in the United States, of which 31% have Internet-connected smartphones. And there's increasing interconnectivity between these devices. Not just mobile-to-mobile connectivity, but we're also seeing things such as TVs with built-in Internet access and networking capabilities. All of this technology use is having an impact, and it's essentially altering family lifestyles in a number of ways. For instance, we're seeing alternative communication patterns, such as the use of social media and smartphones. Social media usage has gone up by 43% in the United States over the last year alone, meaning Americans now spend nearly a quarter of their time online using social networking sites or blogs. And actually, as has been pointed out previously, a lot of this recent surge in use has been driven by older users who are often seeking to connect with kids or grandchildren. We're also seeing things such as technology driving shift in the consumption patterns for media use within the home. Media use in the house is becoming more personalized, more customized, and a little bit more fragmented. For example, with fluid program availability, fewer families are sitting down together to watch a favorite TV program at the same time of the day. Actually, over 2 hours a day of TV consumed in the home is now time-shifted due to the availability of goods and services such as video on demand and digital video recorders. Another interesting shift is also that texting is actually becoming a preferable mode of communication, in some cases more so than talking or voice. Actually, for some age groups and in certain situations, talking is no longer the preferred mode of communication. Texting is, particularly for segments such as young teenage girls. It's worth keeping in mind that when it was first brought on the scene, texting was conceived as a backup for face-to-face or voice communications when the latter were impractical. We're also seeing rising tech use cause things such as changes in parent-child relationships, that's kind of a fundamental element of any family dynamic. Children essentially have electronic tethers, such as smartphones, which give them 24/7 access to a parent, whether by a text or a call. This allows them to postpone pretty indefinitely the separation characteristic of adolescence, as evidenced by, say, millennials continuing close relationships with their parents after they've reached adulthood. All these new developments have big implications for the future of U.S. families and raise some interesting questions. For instance, will the increased preference for texting lead to less face-to-face family time? It hasn't yet. Kids still seem to prefer to talk, at least on the phone, with their parents, but going forward, some interesting possibilities here. For now, let's talk about some ways, more concrete ways, in which everyday family life is changing due to technology. In the past 5 years, the line between consumer technology for home and personal use and that created for business and work use has blurred significantly. Tools such as online calendaring, shared contact books, and web-based productivity applications have merged into home use by major providers such as Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, and Apple. Increasingly busy families, not always able to have breakfast, at home or be at home together are relying on these types of applications to keep themselves coordinated. Parents actually say that using these tools helps them feel less stressed and more in control of their household and family activities. So, for instance, you have menu planning sites like relish.com, which can provide a week's worth of meal ideas and actually automatically generate an accompanying grocery list for busy parents. You have smartphone applications like Plum Life and Cozy that have emerged, which allow tasks to be posted and tagged to individual family members, similar to project management applications for business. Plum Life actually sends timely emails or text reminders to prompt task completions for an errant family member, so that, say, a parent might not forget to pick up their child. You've got other applications like BrightKite and GroupMe, which actually enable groups or families to communicate en masse via private mobile messaging. So these types of services are becoming increasingly associated with and actually pivotal for parenting and family life. In a recent study by Johnson & Johnson, 53% of mothers surveyed said that they had purchased a smartphone, such as a BlackBerry or an iPhone, as a direct result of having a child. So how women use their phones are actually changing as they enter motherhood. For instance, apps aren't in the top 10 list of phone features for women prior to motherhood, but once they become a mother, it jumps to the number 3 spot. In fact, over half of moms report having 10 or more apps on their phones, and of those, fully a quarter were for the kids. So, looking beyond this, actually, researchers are already working on a number of ways that they can provide regular consumer electronics with new and enhanced sensing capabilities that will really revolutionize how families use their technology. For instance, there's a company called Star Analytical Services that is attempting to develop a mobile phone app that will analyze the sound of a cough to diagnose respiratory illnesses in users. You have researchers at the University of Minnesota that have actually incorporated the Xbox 360 connected gaming platform into a system that's designed to help diagnose behavioral disorders in children, such as OCD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. You've also got, say, researchers at Northwestern that have actually developed tattoos that contain nanosensors that can read the wearer's blood alcohol levels, that can read sodium levels, glucose levels for diabetes, just with the help of an iPhone. Another big area that we're seeing in terms of potential for new features from electronic devices is in tracking and monitoring services. Tracking applications based on readily available consumer electronics have actually been in use for specialized niche market segments, and now we're seeing a move to mainstream with geolocation services offered as part of a variety of consumer goods. So new devices from iPhones to Nike running shoes are incorporating GPS features. These types of functional location services that aid consumers with everything from tracking their runtime to locating their family members on the fly will become increasingly standard. For example, you have smartphone apps like Where the Flock that actually displays users' locations on a map along with markers for other people and family members. This allows people to actually see how far away their friends are and where they are. The application also actually captures users' speeds, which can be pretty handy information if you're wondering, say, whether your wife is stuck in traffic or if your son is driving safely. There's actually even tracking clothing. Demand for ubiquitous GPS tracking has actually led some schools to incorporate trackers into uniforms.